Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. In regards to the Salesforce piece, those that might be using Apto or Property Base, you can pay close attention to the demo as well. We can help you actually build websites and other marketing materials directly from that side. But let's start off here kind of with a quick understanding of why this might be interesting to you all on the call in regards to taking a look at Brandcast or similar marketing technologies. So, starting off, why are we paying attention to this? Well, overall, our industry is changing. About 53% of investors believe that advancements in technology will be having the greatest impact on our space over the next few years. And this isn't really anything new. We've been leveraging a number of different pieces of kind of innovative tech across the different areas of our projects, our management, and those type of things for some time. However, the one thing that's still kind of sitting back in kind of an archaic way of doing things is the way that we handle a lot of marketing. And really marketing by way of the way we can produce websites and other digital properties for every single business need today, whether that's property sites, industry reports, team sites, your main.com, or anything like that. And let's kind of take a look at the landscape today. So today, usually when it comes down to it, you're powering your business with these three channels. Usually your main.com, which is something that's kind of hard to use for a lot of the people in-house, hard to update, maybe controlled by corporate in a way that's really hard for you to do things. So when you look to produce materials, you're producing a lot of PDFs and those type of things. But as you know, those are falling short these days. Most of our clients and customers that we're trying to engage with are on mobile phones, right? And these PDFs don't really tell the story, and they're not giving you the feedback and lead gen tools that you need to make sure that this is all working. And then, the last area is the area I come from. I come from LoopNet and the CoStar group. I was there during our CityFeet acquisition, then eventually by CoStar. And, we're putting you in a template and forcing you into a marketing in order to tap into our audience. In which case you're not having the type of marketing control that you're looking for these days. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about building websites for everything, which for a lot of people that have built websites in the past, you might think that's a bit crazy, right? Because it usually costs a lot of money in these type of things. But what we're going to talk about is building websites for every stage of really kind of that customer journey that we're talking about, from the moment they see you on a main.com, maybe connect with you at an event, eventually dig down into some individual projects and properties that they can look at, getting an idea of trends via industry reports that are available online, and of course, connecting with more members of your team and yourself via different areas. Now, why you think this might be crazy is because the last time you built a website, it kind of came down to these three things. It was really expensive building things on WordPress, Sitecore, and all those type of things. Hiring developers and those type of things gets very, very cost prohibitive. At the end of the day, it usually is way too slow. If you're in a major market and you get a project, it might be turned around in a week and a half, and you need to get that marketing site up there quickly in order to match the speed that you're looking for. And then inevitably, you've got a lot of designers in-house, you've got a lot of marketers in-house, but oftentimes you don't actually have a developer. But you've got the people that have the drive and ambition, they just need the right technology for it. So of course, that's what we're gonna be talking about here today with Brandcast, is really the idea of accelerating digital transformation for your firm, for your brokerage, whatever it is you might be doing. And in regards to that, the way it works and what we're going to be dropping in here is we're going to talk about everyone in marketing and ops coming together on a single collaborative platform, connecting in the cloud via a number of different tools. And we're going to walk through each of these in just a moment. And the output of this is the idea of just building digital at an unlimited scale on a daily basis. And in fact, a few of the case studies I'll share with you in a moment is going to tell that exact same story. So our first one here is going to be Berkadia, big players in the Southwest, especially, and now in the South as well, mostly focused on multifamily properties, hotels, and those type of things. This is a situation where they have 130 plus users, and at this point, they're actually over 1,000 websites that they've built over the course of a year. And in this entire time, not once ever using a developer, and it hooks in perfectly to their deal room functionality, their in-house CRM, and everything they need. This is end-to-end digital transformation for the brokerage, and they are just on fire in terms of growth right now through this approach. Our longest standing customer is Colliers International. Now, for anybody on the call that might work for Colliers, you actually have a global license here with Brandcast. Just go ahead and write in to corporate, and you can go ahead and get started immediately or use globally there. And there are plenty of templates and wonderful things for you to actually be using. If your brokerage is not using us today, if anything is interesting here, please do get in touch with us with the link here, as well as what we'll provide and follow up via email. We'll be giving away a 1 month with an annual subscription in order to start working on Brandcast and actually get started. But at the end of the day, this is a demo day. So what we're going to do here is we're going to step out of slides and we're going to go ahead and get into the Brandcast product. I'm going to be keeping you for about 18, 19 more minutes here, and we'll be sure to leave some time to answer any questions. So as a reminder, both for this demo as well as for the additional people exhibiting in a little bit here, if you do have any questions, please use the Q&A feature in Zoom to punch those in, and we'll be sure to get those answered for you by the end of our time here, and I think the other presenters will do the same as well. Okay, so when first working with Brandcast, the first thing you're able to do is actually set up different teams and environments. So because we're typically used globally, you'll see a big list of all the offices and team members and everyone actually using this. And for us, we'll just go ahead and drop into a base account. Now, Brandcast has presented with CREtech before in the past, and there's some recordings online. What we typically do in this time is build you an entire website end to end from scratch in 30 minutes. It's pretty interesting, it's pretty fun, but actually today we have a rather large release. We just opened up a large template gallery, as you can see from our announcement down here in the corner. So instead of doing our normal run through of building a website from scratch in 30 minutes, I'm going to be using a template, and templates in this case being something that's very easy to use, not something that should feel very limiting. And we're going to go through and we're going to produce a property website using one of these templates over the next few minutes here. So I'm going to go ahead and close this notification and get this out of the way for us. Very, very good. And we'll go ahead and get started. Now, when it comes time to producing a project, the first thing you're going to want to do is get everybody in the office in here. So in terms of producing websites, one thing that helps greatly in regards to speed to market and scaling things that work really well is enabling team members to all come in and participate. So in regards to collaboration, this works just like Google Docs, with multiple users being able to be logged in and working on different areas of the site. And there are different roles and permissions and even user interfaces based on what those people's skill sets are and how they should be contributing to the project. Now, once you have the team members lined up, you can go ahead and start producing. In regards to producing sites, you have a few different options. So here, of course, we're loading up the Brandcast template gallery, where you have a number of different things to help you with property websites, industry reports, team websites, and other content marketing needs. And if you're part of a very large organization, chances are that we actually have templates in here that have been provided by your corporate entity, be it Colliers, Berkadia, Alexandria Real Estate, or Renting Company, whatever it may be. If your brokerage has produced templates with Brandcast, they'll be in here as well. But as I mentioned, the new release is the ones that Brandcast is providing. And here we'll go ahead and what could be used as a single property template. Now, before you actually use the template, what you can actually do is preview it. And when you preview it, you'll be looking at it across different devices and these type of things. And then you can come in here and actually decide to use the template. There we are. So I'm going to go ahead and use this. And we are going to go ahead and get started. It'll take just a moment to create. And once you do, the first thing you'll be dropped into is a management view of the website, where you're taking a look at a site map. What are all the pages of the site and how do they actually fit together? Now, if you'll be leveraging any type of template, the most important thing for you professionals on the phone here today is that the templates don't look like something Brandcast provided, but rather something that matches your brokerage from a design and branding perspective. So before we start building anything here, the first thing we'll want to do is set up all of our branding. Now, all the branding for this, and again, if you are part of a larger entity that already has work done with Brandcast, this is all set up for you. But essentially, the way that you control the branding styles for your website is through this piece here called the Global Styles panel. For those that might produce websites on WordPress or other systems, this is known as a CSS style sheet. It's usually something a developer has to do for you. It takes a long time, might cost a lot of money and these type of things. It's now just available to your design and marketing team to control. So the first thing in regards to branding is the ability to get all of your different fonts and other things in there. Now, in regards to fonts, you have the ability to access all the different foundries where the different fonts may live, including Adobe, Google, and Hoffler. And in the case you actually have a corporate font that's been commissioned and is custom for the business, you can simply upload that custom font directly into Brandcast and it'll load in all of your websites. It's as simple as swapping out the font once you load it, and the entire website will actually take that on in terms of all the different branding elements. Similarly, for your different colors and these type of things, add your different color swatches for your brand. Once this is set up once, it can be applied to any project at any given time, and you're off and running with your design looking perfectly on brand and consistent with everything you're doing. The big upgrade compared to what you're going to be able to do on your website today is to be able to control those branding elements across mobile devices. I spoke a moment ago about how PDFs are just leaving things a little bit short in regards to engaging with customers where they are. It's going to be very important that everything we produce looks fantastic on mobile, and I'll be walking through that in just a moment. Now, if you have all your branding set up, the next thing you need is going to be all the assets for the website itself. The assets for the site, including your videos, your images, even your 3D tours and virtual reality things that we have a lot of customers doing today, is going to live inside this piece here called the media library. Now, what's helpful about this is it's going to sidestep a lot of the heavy-duty lifting that comes with switching over into making websites, like making sure each image is compressed appropriately for different screen sizes and these type of things. Don't worry about it at all. Just go ahead and bulk upload any of the assets you need for the project. Brandcast will take care of the rest, making sure that all of it is web-friendly and ready to go. If you have an in-house digital asset management system or other storage area that houses all of your assets, Brandcast does provide an API to tap into those and have them pull into the library and ready for use. So if you've got the branding ready to go and you've got your assets ready, you can go ahead and start building. Now, in order to show you the power of this a little bit more, I'm going to be doing two things. I'm going to first take a page of this and start to build something out. And then as we have success with that build, we're going to move directly over to a new page and start to add different things. The first area of the product I'm going to share for you is absolutely meant for the designers in your organization, those that are working on those PDFs and other mock-ups for websites you've built in the past right off the bat. You're now looking at the Brandcast Design Studio, which is a drag and drop WYSIWYG editor that'll take any designer and turn them into a web developer overnight. It's going to be all drag and drop functionality to get it live on the page, and they are able to do things like build in animations and other rich media to really upgrade your digital marketing overnight. So let's take a look at how this works by building out a fresh section here where we can have a little bit more information about this individual project or property. So the way that this works is that a designer, without actually knowing it, is actually producing perfect HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, the things that really create websites, the front end of them today. And they're able to just take their skills from print and move them over to digital. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to build a big section break to this website. This is going to be a big, nice area where we can drop a big, nice image and provide a little bit more information about the property and something to actually click on. So here, we'll take these different structural elements from the left-hand side. First, a container to make our different area. And then what we'll do is we will take just a block of text that will shrink slightly, move down a little bit, and kick over to the left-hand side here as we create this different effect that's going into the page. For those that have built websites before, you know this stage is wireframing, coming through and building out structurally what this page will look like before starting to introduce content. Now that this section is wireframed, we'll go ahead and tap into that media library that was set up for us previously. And we're going to go ahead and drag and drop an asset directly onto the page to create the visual identity we're going for. We can add different effects, reposition, do anything that we want to do with this individual piece. And in this case, I'm going to add a little bit of a parallax effect that will actually drop the image back behind the page and give it kind of that idea of depth as we go. Once this is in here, we can start to introduce different type of text. So here, what we'll do is we'll give it just a placeholder of a heading 3 and then a big statement about the property and the investment. As text goes into the page, recall at the beginning of this, we would have come in here and set up everything that works for our brand in regards to the different fonts and colors that are actually used. Now that text is actually introduced here, what we can actually do is just assign those different branding elements directly from this global styles panel so that everything looks perfectly on brand and consistent with everything that we're actually doing. Now, the next thing we would want to do before we complete this section is make sure that it looks really good on mobile. So here, a designer can now come in and work through our typical device sizes and make sure everything looks great. So here in this view, we're still looking pretty good. In the tablet portrait, looking good as well. And down here, it starts to get a little bit muddled. So maybe what we can do is start to add just a little bit of color behind this to make the text just a little bit easier to read as it goes in there. And we'll just kind of fade this out a little bit so we can still see that image behind there. But any and all changes we make throughout these mobile devices are going to hold perfectly for us as we work our way back out to desktop and start to move on to our next area of this. Now, this is a very quick and easy way to build things as a designer. But as a designer, we're always looking for ways to collaborate better with other people within the organization. And we're also always looking for ways, once we build something that's working really well, to actually scale those efforts and be able to really move quickly between projects and continue to delight our internal partners and customers and clients as well. So the designer can now come in here and basically start to create different rules for editing as they collaborate with non-designers. Those non-designers are going to work in this mode here called the content mode, which essentially is going to be an area for a designer to come in here and systematically lock and unlock what can be edited by non-designers and make it very easy for them to swap different things out. So here, maybe they don't like a picture of the internal aspect of the property. They want to flop it out to something else. They can tap into that same exact media library. And maybe what we'll be doing is giving a picture of the outside of the property or something along those lines. The image swaps out, it swaps out perfectly on the page for them. If they don't like it, things like Command Z in order to undo, redo, very easy. Similarly, when they want to actually choose what the statement is about the property, as they come in here, it's very easy to make these adjustments. This property is great. And again, still have the consistency and the confidence that everything produced is going to match all the branding and style guidelines and everything that you actually need here. So designers can basically build full templates. They can build full websites, and then they can actually set rules for those editing so that they can collaborate very, very well with others. But the next thing they're going to want to do is start to set themselves up for some consistency and some scale as they continue to work on project after project. So anything this designer builds can eventually be saved as a template. And of course, we saw that a moment ago with the template gallery. You've got the templates provided by Brandcast. And then of course, the templates that can actually be built and saved into your own account. And really that is the key to success here, is to be able to build things that work for you and your business, save those and set up team members to be able to work very nimbly and quickly to produce fresh projects. But one of the other keys to success, because templates can sometimes feel limiting, is to start to templatize things that are easier to understand and easier to reuse. And in this case, Brandcast, we call these things snippets. So in this case, what we would do is we would simply say, well, we want to create different blocks to this template. And this template, again, was the Valencia template. And within this, we really liked this section break that we had here. So we might as well go ahead and say, all right, let's use this section break. And we're going to use this across a lot of different projects. And we're going to put that directly in our Valencia template. Oh, my screen share thing's in the way, sorry. I can't get to it because of the Zoom link on the screen share. Sorry about that. But essentially, we can save these blocks and use them over and over and over again. And why that is very helpful is the moment that you need to do things that are outside of a template, you still have a way on a blank canvas to produce things very quickly and very easily. So you want to see how fast and easy it is? We now have a blank page of our website. We can tap in to the series of snippets that we have and very quickly and very easily start to drag and drop these on the page and start producing anything from industry reports to individual properties to anything that you actually want to build. And it's as simple as punching these in and then immediately collaborating with other team members in order to actually start to bring this page to life. Just like that, we've come through and built this page. We can start filling it out with images, text, and these type of things. And of course, this is all going to look fantastic on mobile. As you can see here in this 3-column grid section, where we have the grid split 2 up and then 1 as we get down into these tablet views. And then of course, down in the phone portrait view, turning it into a long scroll experience with the ability to change this at any given time to whatever you want it to be. Now with that, just 1 or 2 more things to get this website out the door and get it live and working. The first is that we're going to want to understand how well this website is performing. So we're going to want to plug in our different analytics and those type of things. The easiest way to do that is going to be to come in here and just drag and drop things like your Google Analytics, or if you're using some other type of tracking pixels like a MailChimp or something like that, all of them provide a little snippet of code that you can add to your website, which will start to measure your traffic and these type of things. You can also add any contact forms and those type of things in order to start to get the lead capture on each of these. Then you'll want to go through and just do a quick exercise in regards to SEO. Again, this is something you usually pay a developer quite a bit of money to come in and do for the site and make sure it's working perfectly. With Brandcast, this is all available to the team internally. So as they come in here, they can make sure that the page URLs are loading appropriately. They can write up a description for what's actually happening on this page. You have the ability to control if this page is shared on social, what is going to be the image that is pulled, what is going to be the description that is pulled. So you have full control over all of these things and getting it all going. Now, what's also nice about Brandcast beyond what's capable and what you have in front of you is also what is just taken care of for you out the door. So once you're ready to publish, you do not need to worry about things like hosting and security, browser updates, and these type of things. Brandcast takes care of this, as any good cloud provider does, or other cloud softwares that you've used within your business. So here you can go ahead and get to publishing, in which case what you're going to do is just decide on any type of domain. Now, when you're working on just projects internally, you can temporarily publish to a Brandcast subdomain, almost as like a staging environment. But here you can punch in any custom domain. This can work directly on your main.com's URL. There's a lot of ways to get these things working, make it very quick and very easy. And once you have that domain, it's going to be 1-click publish in order to get this website live to the web. Now, the hosting is all done on Amazon Web Services with all the bells and whistles they provide in regards to making sure these websites are available globally and will always have perfect performance. These websites will load about 5 to 10 times faster than your main corporate website, and that's just because we're taking advantage of very modern technologies on the back end to serve content and websites as fast as possible. Just like that, we've got our mobile-ready website out the door that we pulled from a template. I am not a designer, so that one section break was probably not the most beautiful thing in the world, but you all have designers in-house. They're using things like Adobe Creative Suite in order to produce all these things today. And guess what? We did not reinvent the wheel. The design studio that I just shared with you was completely modeled off of the Adobe Creative Suite, so that everybody within your organization can pick up and start using this immediately. All right, everyone, that was a lot of fun. As I mentioned, there's a really neat webinar back recorded from CREtech once before, where you actually see me go through this, and I built an entire website from scratch, but I wanted to share with you all these great templates that are available. We do offer a free trial, so feel free to get in touch with us so that we can go ahead and get you into account, get your team trained, and they can start producing things immediately for you. So Brandcast is just finishing up over the next minute and a half here. If anybody does have any questions or anything like that, feel free to punch them in. As we do, I'll just pull up a couple examples of some neat things that some clients are doing today. One of my favorite ones that's been a great use case here through Prologis, they're doing a lot of things with on-site activation. So though this website is meant to drive people to the property with interesting information, it actually has a wonderful component that once you arrive on site, they can load up the website and this virtual reality experience. And the website will help them actually walk through a fake property, or as the property will be as they're sitting on raw land, so they can start to imagine what this will look like and everything like that. Similarly, you can find a ton of examples from our customers and the great things they're doing on brandcast.com/CRE. We are not specifically a commercial real estate product, though we do have a number of customers, and of course that's why you're joining here today. And you can start to see a lot of examples of things that you maybe haven't even thought of building websites before. This is a great one here from Berkadia, where they have a specific team devoted to the hotels and hospitality, where they're not just building a website for this team itself, but they're actually building a website for every single property that was done here. And you can see the Sheridan, this different portfolios, all these different websites are all built on Brandcast by non-developers, and a lot of them are absolutely fantastic with rich media and these type of things. Okay, we only had one question regarding branding and these type of things. Yes, so in regards to your different, we talked about the colors and fonts. The only other thing that you're going to find that's going to be part of a brand is basically how some of the interactivity of some things work. So Brandcast provides a full studio to build animations. So your company might have some things in regards to how a hover should work or how a mobile menu should work, and you do have control over all of those things. So just the one question that was punched through there. So please do follow up with us on that URL. We look forward to reconnecting with you here in the future. Thanks so much for your time, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and take care.
Thanks. Thanks, Matt. Matt, real quick, if someone needs to get in contact with you, what's the best way to contact you?
It's just going to be the brandcast.com/CRE, or if you just make your way to the website, most of the company knows we're doing the webinar today. You can just hit us on the chat bot there or the contact form, and we'll be sure to follow up immediately. Just make sure to mention that you met us at the webinar, so that if you do end up moving forward with the subscription, we can make sure to get you in on that offer.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.